Alright guys, KK4PYN again with you here. Kind of in a follow-up to the kind of incoherent late night video I made the other night. Again, I apologize for the horrible cell phone quality here. But I just wanted to take a look again at the 36 cell prismatic pack from batteryhookup.com. There's some safety concerns with it, and I also wanted to show you some stuff that you may just not know. So this is going to be another shaky video, but this is what we're working with. This is the listing. It's 36 Sanyo 1150 milliamp hour prismatics. It's $12.50. They're a small cell. It's a 1.15 amp. I do a lot of low power stuff around here, LEDs, things like that, motion lights. Just, you know, I replace like meter batteries with lithium-ion just because. So anyway, that's the listing. I ordered 2 of them. Came with I don't know if it's gonna, well, let me go back up here. This computer is really old and slow. Let me just, I got rid of some of this glare for you. Hold on. There we go. If I can find the other listing. So these are military battery packs. Yeah, no, they've already taken it down. So they're originally military battery packs, and I ordered 2 of them. I got one of them in this open format like I'll show you here, which is wrapped up in anti-static bubble wrap, and the other one was just kind of in this rubber pack. There it is. Okay, so you can see this battery pack here. It was it's basically this thing folded over in half, and then the BMS, which also folds and has some metal cans around it. Just an amazing piece of hardware. So imagine this on the end there like that. That makes the actual pack. And this is the rubber that the pack was wrapped in. It really is a big piece, obviously, but you can cut this easily with a knife. It says on the listing that you can cut the outer case with scissors. I really don't recommend taking a pair of scissors in here. Inside that rubber pack is this thing folded over, okay? And this is a work of art as well, this flexible PCB. Let me go ahead and pull these off. So this was actually the defect here. This one had a blown cell level fuse. You can see I fixed that one. They're supposed to look like that. Of course, it's not going to focus. Anyway, it's a PCB mounted fuse, and then there's temperature sensors, and just, this thing's crazy. So this is a 4S like 9P battery. It folds over like that. And if you're cutting that outer shell with scissors, so imagine this was around the outside like that, okay, you're gonna run into problems, trust me, okay. The outside of these cells, the metal can, let me grab a single cell so you can see what we're working with here. And I've got these in bags so they don't short out. But the outside of this is the individual cell. Let's take it off. See, it's got 2 nice tabs on it. They're very easy to solder to. So to make your own pack is really fantastically easy. I put 2 of these in the back of the Mr. Beam's motion lights that I used to have a 1650 mounted on top of. And you're able to close it, and it's just fantastic. So anyway, this is like a 4S 8 or 9P. It's like a 10 amp hour 14.8 or 16.8 volt pack. And so it's 1 string, 2 string, 3 strings, 4 strings, and then parallel. But the metal of this is the actual positive terminal of the battery. You can see I've got this taped up because also when you cut this PCB, which I'll talk about here in a minute, it exposes some edges. So right now, across these 2 points here, you got, 3.6, 3.6, 3. So it's 4S. Anyway, you guys know how battery work. These are brand new cells. I got them at 4.15 volts. I guess there are assembly defects. Like I said, this one came with missing fuse. The other one, I don't know what was wrong with it. I took it out of the pack. It was fully charged up. There's a little battery fuel gauge on the pack. I hit it. It showed fully charged. So these come charged. Now, granted, they're only 1.15 amp or 1.15 amp output cells, but here's the thing: they're military spec. They're Sanyo. They're prismatic. They're very small, and these things are just great. Okay. So this one I got just like you see it. I had to cut the BMS off. This is where you're going to run into problems. Okay. When you are cutting this end, yeah. All right. So we're going to look at this end real quick. When you're cutting along here, this is going to be hooked up like this. Ooh, careful. When you're cutting through here, between 2 points that are close together, like right there, or right here, if your knife is on both sides of that at the same time, you are shorting across the cell pack, or across the serial string. If you're planning on removing all the cells and using them for a pack, no big deal if you blow all these fuses. But if you want to keep this, because you can take this and put a regular BMS on it, a 4S BMS, and have yourself a pack. So I'm going to use this one that I have. I just got hooked up to one of these to kind of check it out. Trying to see where the cutoffs and everything were, and making sure it is in fact doing balancing. So you could use one of these, a 4S BMS, on this pack the way it sits, and have yourself a cool, kind of flexible, not high output, but not good for like a power wall or anything. But if you're going to run like a, if you're camping and you wanted to run a light or anything like that, there really is a lot of capacity here for 12 bucks. You're talking about basically a 10 amp hour battery. So when you cut through here, be real careful. Make sure you're not bridging these points, or else you will short it out. Best case scenario, the individual fuses blow. Worst case scenario, it really heats up, and you have a problems. Obviously, you don't want to cut across here while it's hooked up. The BMS is marked pretty well, but I really couldn't figure it out. It's got what I believe to be CAN-based communications, just based on the way the military works. And there's a bunch of test points here. These are all covered by metal enclosures, but anyway, work of art there. So anyway, let's put this aside. I'll show you what the other side of this looks like. And again, I got this taped up because when I set it down, I don't want all those contacts to touch anything. So where are we at? 9 minutes? Yeah, okay. So you can see I got all the ones I harvested from my other pack. And here I got them individually bagged. So I'm going to leave that one together. This is the one that came inside this rubber thing. It was folded in half, and let me tell you, getting these things apart was tricky. And it's held together in the middle by this big piece of rubber, sticky double-sided foam. This is some crazy adhesive. What I was going to say, when you're cutting this stuff, if you have a ceramic paring knife, that's probably the way to go, or get a cheap one. I used an Olfa, or a Persona, whatever you want to call it, razor knife, and was very careful because I did short one of them out for a second, and things got hot pretty quick. Thankfully nothing happened, but use a ceramic knife if you have it. If not, be really, really careful. Just look where you're cutting, kind of, you know, common sense on the PCB here. You get spots that are close together. So this, these are the solder pads that the cells stick to. So they're mounted on here like this, bing, bing, bing. And they're really easy to desolder and pull the tabs through these little holes. What you're going to need is some plastic tools. So I use stuff like this plastic antenna tool, or the kind of, and I broke this one, the little, you know, stuff you get with the cell phone kits, but I buy a bunch. The other thing I find really good is this is, I believe, a sticker remover that I got from Staples, and it's really, you know, durable, but you can see it's got that sharp point there to get in underneath those cells, and pry them up. I'm going to get another pack. So I actually have been in communication with Battery Hookup. Hopefully I'm going to get another pack. Hopefully they can send me the rubber one so that I can take it apart. I'll live stream that maybe, because it'll probably be pretty long, and show you guys how to do this at $12. Look at this. This is how crazy the engineering is. I believe, don't quote me obviously, that these were cell heaters. There's one under each 36 cell. I believe it's a heater, because the thermistors are here. You can see them built in. The engineering in this pack is unbelievable. This flexible PCB, the amount of stuff they had in there, the individual, let's see if we can get a better view of that now, the individual cell level fuses, I mean, just nuts. So anyway, so I cut these down. I harvested all these cells for use in things. And what I did is I actually kept the other ones in a 1S8P configuration. Okay, so I left them on there, hooked up some wires, one to the negative, and then there's a spot right here, right there. Beep. You see that? This spot right here, you can put some solder on, or you can scrape off a little bit of this, and solder to that. So I just soldered on some wires and put on a TP4056, one of these, which you can see sticking out here. These are the TP46 with protection. This, by the way, is just a night light. So these cool green lights, and this will run for days, probably. And then taped it all together. And then here's another pack that doesn't have anything in it. I just soldered on some wires, folded it in half, and so this is a 1S8P. So that's like 9 point something amp hours. 1,150 times 8, whatever that is, 9 point something. And this is the little just kind of JST connector I use. And you can charge this with one of these TP4056s with no problem, or any other, you know, anything you charge an 18650 with. I think in the specs it says max continuous charge is one. Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The max continuous charge is 1.15 amps. The max continuous discharge is 2.3 amps. So you can charge this basically at an amp and it'll be happy, and discharge it at 2 amps and it'll be really happy. Which, like I said, I use low power stuff around here. These are going to go into some sort of lighting project more than likely. I like getting these cheap power bank PCBs that are designed to be in a power bank. It's just got USB in and USB out for charging. And I use them, and you know, you could build your own power bank, because this takes care of boosting and all that stuff and charging and cut off. And then this little LED that I've got in here on this thing, which is these are actually the batteries out of the modem packs that Battery Hookup was selling. This LED, granted, you know, it's pretty bright, you know, just emergency lighting, whatever, but it's been running for over a week. These are in parallel. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8 amp hours there. You know, so that's been running for a week. So, you know, in an emergency, a power outage, whatever. So I like to build packs like that. And then, I mean, you could use these cells the way they solder together. You know, you could make your own circuit board form or whatever you want to do, or you could cut this, if you're careful, into whatever configuration you want. You know, 2S 4P, 4S 2P. I mean, you could use the whole thing, but you can make it really whatever size you want. And you can say just wrap this up, and this is just one length of that. So these are great cells. Again, military spec. One of the reasons you need to be careful, like when I was cutting through here, so imagine there's two sides to this PCB, okay? These are the other two. When I was cutting through the middle, the outside of these batteries, the metal can, if you will, is positive. Unlike an 18650 where the metal is negative, on the negative terminal, these are positive. So, and I metered them, but as I was putting them together, I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And because if you look at this one, it looks like it's isolated, but it's not. So this one in the middle is the negative, and the one off to the side is the positive. Just be careful with that. Don't take that paper off. It's also got the hole up here for expansion or whatever. These are, knowing the military, these are probably some of the best cells you could ever buy. They're really designed to be bulletproof. This thing, when it's in this PCB, the engineering was unbelievable. I'd like to send this to Dave Jones, one of these. Sorry about the craziness. If you look down in there at this connector, I mean, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's got like this ring. And just the quality is just ridiculous. And if you get one of them that's in the rubber and you see the way this is put together, it's mind-boggling. So, at any rate, I just wanted to cover that. Wow, I totally dropped you guys. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't want that. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm a horrible YouTuber. Anyway, we're going to get more of these, do a full tear down. It was really late at night, and I just blasted some stuff out like, hey, be careful, these things will, you know, cut them with ceramic, like kind of some really incoherent tweets. Nothing against battery hookup. I emailed them and said, hey, could you just put a warning in the listing? Because it does say in here, or at least it did, yeah, it says you can easily cut the outer shell with scissors. I really, really highly recommend that you do not go at this pack with a pair of scissors unless they're ceramic or you're just asking for a short. And everybody knows when we short lithium ion, be careful cutting the PCB. There's also a lot of sharp stuff going on in here. The edges of the PCB, when you do the packs like this, like I did, have contact in them because there's metal. Like this part would be a double wide like this one. So I cut down this line of holes. This is, you know, this is the positive rail here. So really make sure you Captain's cheap, heat shrink is cheap. Make sure you protect the cells, protect yourself. Wear your safety glasses. I highly recommend some gloves. Use ceramic knife if you got them. And yeah, so battery hookup does a great job. They're great guys. I bought a lot of stuff from them. I bought these Ryobi packs from them. I bought like 6 of them. Unfortunately, they were all dead. I was hoping some of them were going to work because I actually use those Ryobi power tools. But what else did I want to show you? Yeah, so, but I did get some of the motor and batteries off them. You can see I got a couple 18650s here. This thing is 4 deep. And then these are the ones I got out of the modem batteries. These things are easy to take apart, but it's frustrating to get these out. And you can't really tell. I think they're sold out of them anyway. Oh, the SMPs. If you guys don't know, These are, this is my new pet project here. These are the SMP cells, sorry, SPIM 08HP. These are 8 amp hour, 3.7 volt cells. The tape is over the contacts. They're $4 in this holder, or $3 without the holder. I like the holder because it holds together. So it makes, you mean, like a ready-made pack. So I could make a 4S battery out of this at 8 amp hours. They're $16 or $12 without the holders, but you'd have to find out a way. And then the tabs on here can be bolted together, welded. They mentioned being able to weld directly to them. The special thing about these cells is you can discharge them at 200 amps continuous and charge them at 80 amps continuous. So this is probably not something I'm going to use for a low power thing. This is something I'm probably going to have like a small inverter on for like a fast backup box or something like that. While you're waiting to get a generator started, if you need to keep something going, or first aid, it's funny, or something like that. But I'm going to be getting some more of those. Anyway, my rant's over. So you guys just be careful. Buy some plastic tools, get a ceramic cutting knife, and you'll be okay. Thanks for sticking with me for 20 minutes. Again, battery hookup, got no issues with you guys. Sorry if it sounded like kind of a blast, but I just want people to be careful. We all know about lithium ion, and like I sent the initial video to Jehu because he does a lot of work with them. Unfortunately didn't see any reaction from him, but you know, I'm sure he's a busy guy, a lot of things going on. Just so that as you guys are buying these to use them, if you're going to harvest the cells, which is fantastic, then cutting and all that, just be careful not to short it for your own safety. But if you're going to keep them together to make a pack, be really careful, because once you blow these cell level fuses, and I don't know what the amperage is on this, I'm going to assume it's like 3 amps if the cell will do a 2.3 amp discharge. I don't really have any way to, I guess I could test that somehow, but anyway. But it's nice because they're already in strings. You can cut it to whatever size you need. It's like LED strings that you can cut to whatever size you need. You know, this 4S, you know, 9P was it, or 8P battery, 10 amp hour, is great for running like LED lights. You know, you don't need a ton of amperage, but it's that capacity you want. So anyway, that's it. We're just around here fooling with some battery stuff. This is just a cheap charger that I made. You know, these are more battery hookup cells. Been really impressed with everything from them so far, so check them out at batteryhookup.com. And get yourself some of these or whatever else they got right now. I like the dirt cheap battery section. These are the modem cells. I got them at 180. They're sold out now. I really want one of these 120 amp hour LG Chem ones. You know, 120 amp hours, you could run a light for millions of years. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, the Ryobi ones are sold out. I got those. And I think the other one that I'm really interested in is the this one right here, the A123 Life PO4. Hopefully I can catch this before they sell out. We need to wait for another check or two, but I want to try some Life PO4 because I think I want to make some replacement batteries for like the UPSs and stuff like that, and Life PO4 is really the only way to go on 12 volts, since you're 3.2 volts a cell or 3.3 instead of, you know, 4-ish. So anyway, that's it, you guys. Sorry the videos haven't been there, and sorry for the rant. There's a lot of other things going on around here that I just haven't had time to cover yet. And I've still got this hellacious mess to contend with, although I did get these magnetic strips. man, that makes life easier just throwing the tools up there, you know. So anyway, that's it. I'll quit boring you. If you stuck with me till the end here, again, thanks for watching. If you subscribed, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Leave me a like. And I do read all my comments because I normally only get like 5. So that's it. If you want more information or if you want to see what I was ranting about the other night, you can follow me on Twitter at KK4PYN. And that's about it. Off to bed, early to work in the morning. You guys have a great evening. 73.